Hey, I'm documenting the night. You want to say something to Rob? It's Cloverfield coming up next on Least Important Things.
What is this for?
It's for Rob. Say something to him before he leaves.
Rob's awesome. I'm gonna miss it.
Rob, have fun in Japan.
You owe me $11.
How are you gonna survive without Rob? He's like your main dude.
Yeah, no. Hey, how am I gonna survive without you?
I don't know, I'm like your main dude.
What was that noise?
He sounded like an animal.
Yeah, just relax. Everything.
Phone calls are pouring into the New York One newsroom as a thunderous, roaring sound.
Think you can see something on the roof?
What animal sounds like that? Like shaking everywhere, man. It's like tremors.
Looks like you should have left town a little bit earlier.
Welcome to a podcast called Least Important Things, and I have to adjust my camera already. A show about movies, friendship, and finding meaning in the most important of the least important things. I'm your host, Luke Ferris, and I'm doing shaky cam already for those watching on YouTube. It's just going to be shaky cam the entire way. No, I'm not going to do that to you listeners. In today's episode, shaky cam it is. In honor of the spooky season, we're rewatching the found footage monster movie hit, Cloverfield. First time guest, longtime friend, Jake is here. He's a connoisseur of a majority of my tastes in music and movies. We really wouldn't be here without him. And he's got a mini DV camera ready to record. Jacob Felten, welcome.
Thanks. It's an honor. Yeah.
I feel like this has been a long time coming.
Oh, yeah. We've been needing to talk, especially about this movie for a long time.
Specifically Cloverfield, but we're not alone, Jake. Also joining us is a returning guest all the way back from season 1 many moons ago, and the designer of the lit logo, Curtis Felten. Welcome, Kurt.
What's up, Luke? Great to be here.
Are you ready?
You know of anyone, I am ready for this.
Oh, gentlemen, before we get into stuff, this is the spooky season episode. Well, this isn't like a straight like Halloween movie. It is a monster movie. There's horror. There's a party involved. But I wanted to intro the episode with a question about Halloween. Do you guys have a go-to Halloween candy? I mean, Jake, you have kids. Like, what's the candy that you're going to be stealing from your kids this year?
I remember, the cups are always the most coveted.
Yes, Reese's
Once
cups.
you get everything thrown on the floor, they're like the highest prize. But I mean, in the words of Gorley, some kids are always going to hit the spot, especially some watermelon kids.
Some watermelon Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, that's
kind of
some
rare,
good stuff.
but when you
Yeah,
get
probably
it,
pretty rare in like a multi. They're not in a lot of multis. I feel like
no.
now people have gotten so lazy. They're purchasing the multi-packs, where I think when we grew up, there was a little bit more specific dissemination between the different brands.
Yeah.
But that's a good pick. I'd
more
take
explored
that.
now. Yeah.
Kurt, what about you? What's your go-to?
Well, I just want to say, if you're buying all the multi-packs are like 80% Kit Kat. So
Yeah, there's just in Mr. Good bars.
like horrible.
Miller.
Dude, if there's a Snicker bar in there, it's mine. But if there's a Nerds rope, you got my full.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm roped.
Those are good choices, guys. I'm the freak. I'm gonna go straight mini pack of pretzels. That's gonna be my pick.
That's not true.
Snyder's?
I thought you were gonna
Snyder's.
say Red.
Wow. A little salty.
A little salty in my
I
sweet.
mean, it wouldn't be bad to mix in with the chocolate, but
Yeah, I think it'd be good. That's the dad. That's the modern dad pick. Is just give me some peanut M&Ms and the pretzels together.
Yeah, the pretzels too. They'll go better with your beer, your cold IPA.
That's true. Yeah, the Sour Patch Kids. It's not as a good
No.
flavor profile with the hoppy beer. Well, gentlemen, before we dive into the conversation, before we dive into Cloverfield, whether it's your first time listening or watching, thank you. Thanks for being a friend of the show. Please remember to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast or on YouTube so you don't miss an episode dropping every Tuesday. You can also connect with us at leastimportantthings.com, leastimportantthings@gmail.com, TikTok at leastimportantthings. You can connect with me on Instagram at Luke H. Ferris or on Letterboxd at Luke H. Ferris. We have a Patreon where you can become a free member to receive email alerts when a new episode is released, video updates, exclusive conversations, and additional information about the episode. For the same price as a cup of coffee or a nerd's rope, you can become a friend of the show and get a Least Important Things sticker, logo designed by Curtis Felten. And a note from me, exclusive content, more special surprises to come. Supporting the show helps us make more episodes. So visit patreon.com/leastimportantthings to learn more. And most importantly, this is an independent podcast, and the best way you can help the show is by recommending it to somebody. So please, when you're eating leftover Halloween candy with your coworkers in the break room or at a New York house party right before the city is attacked by a giant alien, please recommend Least Important Things. Podcasts weren't around really that much. Like, it was early podcasting, so I don't think at that party people were saying, like, what podcast are you listening to? That wasn't really a thing.
I don't think so.
No, it was like the one person listening to Dan Carlin or Super Ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't feel like a Dan Carlin crowd there.
I don't think that was a Dan Carlin. Yeah.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, we're really fortunate. For every rewatch episode, we are sponsored, and we have a new sponsor today. Really proud to have them. As you know, guys, I don't have any sponsor come out of the show unless I fully endorse them. I really believe in using products that are tried and true, that last over time and are really user-friendly. I'm not going to recommend a sponsor that has a product that is not those things. And that's why today I'm really glad to say that the show is sponsored by Mini DV tapes. If you want a very specific tape for a very specific period of handheld cameras that will be incredibly difficult to convert and use, then Mini DV is the tape for you. Mini DV, it's annoying. Give it a shot. Really thrilled to have them as a sponsor. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we're moving on to the back of the DVD. This is information you can find on the back of the DVD. Let's say it's 2008 and you're in a Blockbuster and you say, that looks like a cool cover. It's the missing head of the Statue of Liberty. Let's figure out what's on the back. And you might read, 5 New Yorkers throw their friends a going-away party the night that a monster the size of a skyscraper descends upon the city. Told from the point of view of their video camera, the film is a document of their attempt to survive the most surreal, horrifying events in their lives. That's the back of the DVD for Cloverfield. A very limited back of the DVD. This is when we're trying to track the quality of back of the VHS or back of the DVD writing. This is really limited. We're transitioning where they're not putting a lot of effort. Netflix mail subscriptions just starting. The digital revolution is starting. It's starting to wane down in this era. This is another 2008 pinpoint. You know where you're at.
It's like one rough draft. Call it good.
They call it good. All right, guys, let's learn a little bit more about this movie that came out. Gracie Abrams' dad's production company, J.J. Abrams, known as Bad Robot. This is their second film right before Star Trek, Super 8, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol. So this is so fascinating to look back on. This is a turning point in a production company and a filmmaker who's going to be in charge or a part of some of the biggest movies of the 2010s. And I didn't realize how early Cloverfield was for him in that transition from TV into movies, which is really exciting. This movie is directed by an unknown friend of J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, who would go on to do the Planet of the Apes reboots, the Batman, in just crazy. I forgot about this, that Matt Reeves was the director of this movie. I don't know about you guys.
No, I really thought it was just Paul Mescal's father-in-law. I didn't know I had no idea that Reeves was a part of this. And like looking back, I'm like, it's like a really great look. Like, I'm really happy it's Reeves in a way.
You know? Was that it's his feature film?
Yeah, this is his first feature. He was just doing TV before this, so it's really impressive to come out of the gate with this bad boy. It was written by Drew Goddard, who is also J.J. Abrams' buddy, who wrote on Buffy, Angel, Alias. Prior to Cloverfield, he would go on to write Cabin in the Woods, World War Z, The Martian, and his upcoming Project Hail Mary. So, again, another great writer who's a Abrams disciple that would go on to do some awesome things. The cinematography was by Michael Bonneville, who was the cinematographer on Alias. Shout out to Alias. That's 3 mentions already for Jim Hargrove following us on our Alias count for every episode. And TJ Miller. We got to give TJ Miller a shout out.
Huge. I mean,
mostly TJ.
Yeah.
He held the camera a few times, which is super awesome.
That's really he shook it.
He shook it. He definitely shook it. This movie is starring Lizzie Kaplan as Marlena, Jessica Lucas as Lily, T.J. Miller as Hud, Michael Stahl-David as Rob Hawkins, Mike Vogel as Jason Hawkins, Odette Annabelle as Beth, Theo Rossi as Antonio, and Ben Feldman as Travis. Why do I feel like this cast was either all on girls in the next couple of years or like a Greta Gerwig movie? It just is like feels like the most 2008 New York group.
Oh, I know. Yeah, all their faces just make me feel like I'm back in time.
It's crazy. Just all the just such a unique group of people. That again, this we'll get into the more details of here, but this is a specific example that was happening in horror since the 80s, even before then, of spend your money on your special effects, get a bunch of unknowns to be in this movie, and that's how you make a good quality movie. It's a chance you take. There's a lot of bad 80s slashers that did the same model and didn't work, but it's really cool to see Cloverfield knock it out of the park, especially with this cast. Obviously, Lizzie Kaplan, I think, and T.J. Miller are probably the most famous that have go on from this, but it's not like this amazing, they all became Oscar nominees. It's like, nope, this is 2008. There they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember seeing much else of the other than those two.
It's not much. I'm trying to think. I feel like the actress that plays Beth, Odette Annabelle, she's when I look at her, it's 2008 It Girl.
Yep.
She was like right on the scene. I mean, she's kind of infamous for Jacob and I. Her maiden name is Yustman, so Odette Yustman is mentioned probably at least once a month since this movie. I mean, I don't know why. She's just always like on the,
I'm not going to not say it didn't affect me naming my daughter Odette.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm surprised. I guess Odette wasn't in more, but the rest, I'm almost not necessarily happy, but it makes the movie better that they weren't known, and I'm fine with it post Cloverfield.
I think I agree. It helps rewatch. It feels better. It obviously TJ Miller, his voice is pretty synonymous, and he's not the number one comedian in the world, but he really well known.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take you out of the movie on the rewatch. It helps even more.
Yeah, it makes them feel like they were the real people, like the Michael's whatever, the main guy, Rob. Like he's just Rob.
He's Rob
Cloverfield. Like
that's it.
And Lily is Lily from like they don't. Yeah.
It's wild. All right, let's move on to facts that you can fact check. I'm not going to do the work for you. Cloverfield was released on January 18th, 2008. This is an interesting time to release a movie. Typically, this is when the horror movies are released. It's post-holidays, so this is the kind of a dumping ground in the calendar for movies. That weekend, gentlemen, on January 18th, if you didn't see Cloverfield, you could have seen Juno. You could have seen National Treasure Book of Secrets. You could have seen The Bucket List. You could have seen Alvin and the Chipmunks or I Am Legend. Those were all movies that came out during the holiday season that you could have still seen in theaters. Or you could have seen Cloverfield.
That is so 2000.
It is so 2008.
Wow. Will Smith,
Nicolas Cage, The Bucket List, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and I Am Legend.
I can't say many of those have like aged that great. Like I don't feel like they're part of any type of modern day discourse.
Zeitgeist. No, it's not. I mean, Juno, you could say there, but no, it's.
I haven't heard Juno brought up in years.
It feels good because it's like that is that era. They were making movies in that era, that way, and it is cemented in 2008. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about the budget. And I mentioned the production, the way they make movies like this previously. What is your guess on the budget? This is not with inflation. In 2008, what was the budget of this movie?
50.
50? Like, Jake says 50.
Like right now, me just guessing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say around.
I just feel like
I think maybe.
Did they shoot it in New York?
They shot some of it in New York. Yes, they did. They shot New York and LA.
Yeah, I guess
that sounds right. But I also like looking back at that, like at the rollout, which is still like one of the best ever in my opinion. And like also J.J. Abrams was a pretty famous like director at that time. I know he just produced it, but because of Lost,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, this might be. Is this like a big movie? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it probably wasn't. Maybe it was like 60. So
The budget was $30 million, and it made $162 million worldwide.
I mean,
Incredible.
no big names.
Incredible. But I Kurt, to going back to that, and we'll get into it with some of these facts, is the marketing campaign for this was so strong, so mysterious. And in the lineage, we have to talk about the Blair Witch Project, which is really probably the number one found footage movie. But I think this movie is much more rewatchable. But they use the same techniques where they were building the mystery with this found footage realism. But they were able to really capitalize on the internet in this way. Let's talk about Lizzie Kaplan. She thought this was a romantic movie until her second audition when she read the first couple scenes. After she was
20 minutes.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes, you're like, this is a great rom-com. After she was offered the role, she found it out it was a monster movie, but the actors weren't allowed to read the script until after they signed on, which is very normal for horror movies. A lot of the Friday the 13th sequels, it was the same way. They would get actors to sign on, and they wouldn't really know what was going on in the movie. So, interesting to like think it's a rom-com, and then it's not at all. Especially
Just
her
read the party
character.
scene. Yeah.
Well, like I didn't even know that about the Friday movies. Like I like when this movie came out, and I know we'll get into like the moment it came out for us, but I remember that information being dropped. Part of the marketing, as always, it was like did you hear kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was just so powerful. Like, no, dude, you don't get it. Like, no one knew what was going on except JJ and Matt. You know, that kind of thing. I feel like that like really powered it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And it prepared those guys to produce and make those huge blockbuster movies where you have to keep everything a secret.
Extreme lucky on those. Yeah.
They were ready from the beginning. The running time of this movie, gentlemen, is 80 minutes. Which
that I mean, is there a shorter movie you've covered, Luke?
This is by far the shortest. Let me tell you, it is much shorter than any of the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels. That's probably you could fit 3 Cloverfields in those movies. Good God.
It's so those movies were.
They almost broke this podcast. They almost broke this podcast. Definitely changed some things afterwards. Never again. Never again.
Yeah.
But that runtime is the same length of like the largest mini DV tape. So it's exactly the same length as a DV tape. So at the start, the whole idea that that HUD taped over The Perfect Day at Coney Island is because of the length of the DV tape.
Yep.
Dude, I mean, I already loved it so much. You can't.
Did Rob and Beth
Genius.
film 80 minutes of Their Perfect Day?
It was a different time, Jake. We didn't have iPhones.
Well, I mean, they were in the hotel room for a while, so I think it's possible.
Yeah, there was some kinky stuff that was filmed, I believe, that day. They did some. It was a different time. It's a different time. It was exciting to be able to film something that long.
It's true.
And then plug in your camcorder to your laptop and then pull it digitally from. I mean, incredible. I mean, just magic. It was magic. Yep. So I guess he was just very excited. The first trailer of this movie was played before Transformers. Speaking of mid to late 2000s, it showed a giant explosion at the heart of New York City, and the Statue of Liberty's head being thrown down the street. Shot, of course, with the handheld camera, but really nothing. We got nothing.
Yeah, there's no name or anything, right? When that dropped, it just was like. I remember there just being a date and then being like, what is that going to be? Yeah.
It's part of the anticipation. We mentioned this in our 2000s trailer episode as starting with this era of innovation from 2000 to 2010. Cloverfield's an example of where innovative trailers were really pushing the limits of how to market a movie and building that mystery. Of course, during that first weekend release, many of the theaters posted sign warnings to guests that the handheld camera movements may cause motion sickness, which
also good.
when I first started watching it, I was like a little bit like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a headache, and then I realized, oh, it slows down after the first 20 minutes. I feel like I don't know if you guys felt that way.
Yep, I felt the same way watching it the other day. Yeah.
Yep.
It's subtle cinematography, and that's what we mentioned the cinematographer, because you were like, well, it's just all handheld cameras. They do a good job of it jolting you in at the start. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sick, and then actually the camera work is smoother than an actual mini DV.
Maybe too smooth in some.
We'll get into it.
We'll talk to
We'll get it into. Jamie and all the main characters have a MySpace pages. I don't know if we could find that in the Wayback Machine. The producers made these pages to advertise on MySpace. The characters last logged into them on January 18th, 2008, the film's release date, which is, again, part of this digital marketing innovation. But wow, what's 2008 than creating a MySpace marketing campaign?
Oh, Jesus.
Bring me back.
It's so genius. Everything they did.
So genius. During rehearsals, Matt Reeves told the actors the most important thing they could do was hang out with each other and become friends. So they spent a lot of like off-camera time together, and that really shows, I think, in of course the party scene, but throughout the movie. Again, I mentioned this earlier. It was shot in 34 days in New York, in Los Angeles, under fake names Slusho and Cheese. The idea, this is a great fact that you can fact check. The idea of having the air sirens blaring in the background at the end was Steven Spielberg's idea, who was a mentor of J.J. Abrams. He felt the sirens would serve effectively as a countdown to the massive blast that eventually comes. Spoiler alert. If that's true, that's great.
That's crazy.
It's gonna kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spielberg's like, just add this. Just a little note. It's brilliant. Matt Reeves brings up the idea to some people about comparing the events of this film to 9/11. Quote, he says, I think we were always aware that it did, in that we felt like it was a way of dealing with the anxieties of our time, which I think we'll talk about it later. Rewatching it, I forgot. Oh, yeah, that was only 7 years after 9/11.
Yeah.
I think growing up in that era, you don't think about it that way because it like 7 years when you're a teenager feels like a long time.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is directly in response to what happened in New York 7 years earlier. It feels really prevalent. It's crazy to watch it with fresh eyes that way. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely about that time.
100%.
Reeves talked about how the Godzilla movies were an allegory for what was going on in Japan post atomic bomb, and he kind of talks about that we're able to deal with these anxieties through movies, through sci-fi ideas, because sometimes the horror of like reality is we can't handle it, and it's easier to have a big monster than what the actual truth is, which I think is really special. All right, let's move on to OT's overall thoughts, gentlemen. I've been talking a lot. I want to start out with Kurt. Just a question for you. Who, what, and where were you when this movie came out?
I was 17. I was a junior in high school. I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I think because I was like channeling this time, and I'm like, you know what really stuck out to me was that trailers were really hitting. They were so like powerful. Everyone's going to midnight showings, and also like the shock and awe of I was like, you know what, like one of my favorite trailers weirdly is the Watchmen trailer, and I was like, what year is that? And I was like, oh, it's actually a few months after Cloverfield, but
we mentioned it on our trailer episode. Yep.
Oh, but it still brought up this thing of like, oh yeah, but it's still the same time period of me being like so tapped in, so like affected about a movie that's going on in theaters. And I think that's another reason why it stuck out so much. But yeah, that's where I was, an excited little 17-year-old.
I don't want to be hyperbolic, but being a friend of yours during that time and spending a lot of time together during that era, I would say you proselytized for this movie in a big way.
I am known that I did see it in theaters 5 times, and I only know one other person that did that, and it was Titanic, and that's like this is not something to brag about, I don't think. Right?
Absolutely is something to brag about. This is what this show is all about. It's a safe space.
It got a little out of hand. I I don't remember truly the first 4. I think it was with friends, but obviously with like probably you guys. But the last one I remember being like kind of like losing my mind a little bit, and I needed to bring my dad, so I forced my dad, just him and I, to go see the movie after I'd seen it like 4 times already. Like what? That's weird. That's too much.
That's when you know there's maybe not a problem, but you need to cool off a little bit, because we all love your dad, and great influence of dad's cinema. But I would say your dad's like taste of movies are, I would say, like The Patriot, or like that would be he would be really excited about that. Maybe not Cloverfield.
He loves people redemption too.
I needed to show my dad, like, Dad, there's this like Kings of Leon song, and Odette Yustman's really hot. You have to go, like you have to experience this.
Into that, right? Stupid.
Jake, what about you? What was your response to this movie? Obviously, I mentioned at the top that you're a huge influence on all of us as the connoisseur of movies and art during that time. At least that's my perspective. I would say Least Important Things owes you a debt of gratitude for your influence on this show. What was you were
Adam Naiman.
You were a king of the physical media before it was cool to be the king of the physical media.
Those were peak years of me just going to Blockbusters and rummaging through like whatever dollar DVDs. And I feel like that was the year after graduating high school, so I was just a little more free, a little more spare cash. So I don't know, it just was a very exciting time of life. And then seeing that movie was probably one of the most unique walking out of the theater experiences I've ever had, where it truly, like the cliche, like, wow, that was a roller coaster ride. It actually is like the epitome of that. Like I really felt like I had just gone on a ride at a theme park or something, and wanting to chase that again. That's why it makes sense that Kurt went over and over to me, especially knowing the runtime. You're just like going on and getting whipped around for a little while, and you leave on a high. Like, why would you not want to just keep doing that? But
that's a perfect description, because it is a roller coaster. I mean, it's physically, both from the cinematography, the story, the intensity, and it's short. It's the roller coaster of movies, and that's why it's so rewatchable looking at it now. I hadn't seen this in so long. What was your guys' perspective coming at it? A little bit older, maybe a little less impressionable, more jaded. What was your perspective coming back, Kurt? What was that like for you?
I think the things that held up. I've never been. I know a common thing in like movie critique right now is like, oh, this movie was great, but man, the special effects just were too obvious and weren't hitting or something. And I'm like, I'm actually, if it's really that bad, it might affect me, but typically it doesn't. And then this movie, I don't think, even coming back at it now, those weren't really like the jaw-dropping moments. The moments that really, really pulled me in were the party, the music, the love triangle, even though it's like barely there, and kind of the fact that they're just running from something. You don't need to see the monster. I don't need to see this big digital monster. It was more just them running around that was like fearful enough. So it definitely held up, and I do think the runtime is another big reason for that. Like so many movies, I think you go back and you watch them and you're like, oh, I didn't realize this was so like slow and long. And this movie just it knows when to quit and it knows when to move on. So.
For sure, I had that same feeling watching it, and like we were talking about earlier, where it's so shaky at the start, and thinking, I don't know, like, is this gonna wear on me? Like, TJ Miller's funny, but is he that funny? And then it just goes like it's boom, 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 and then you're like, oh, it's this scene already, and then this scene, and then it's over. And so, yeah, I think that is the key takeaway. It's just it just rips through, and it's still just as great as it was for me.
It really does work, but I do think the going back for Beth was just a little. It was just a little.
We'll get into that specifically as it goes.
It just didn't it didn't match the rest of it, but of course it's. I mean,
it's a movie.
I'm nitpicking. Yeah.
I had more like coming at it like, because the first time you see it, you're just along for the ride and you're holding on for dear life, and now I don't know. I've experienced this going back through a lot of older movies where I almost want things to stand out as corny or a little bit implausible because that makes it even more fun to rewatch. So I was picking up on those things this time,
Hmm.
like particularly like the idea of just at the party scene. I just kept thinking, what if the monster had just not come and like Rob gets this footage the next day from HUD and it's just him walking around. He stopped interviewing people and just started talking to them
Just
about him sleeping
following
with
them.
Beth and like what just and I was just kind of like laughing to myself like those kind of
Did you hear Rob? I saw it, Beth. Did you hear Rob?
yeah
Something?
he just cuts course midway through.
It's a great like dark kind of like romantic comedy if
It really
the monster
is.
never comes.
Yeah, it would be very weird. But yeah, and the fact that it truly is just a rom-com because of the forced Beth like saving her. I mean, it's just a rom-com with a monster attacking a city. Like I don't
Agreed.
know how
Agreed.
that-
You even have like the HUD and Marlena characters. Like
Yeah.
that's the side romance of the friends. It's
Exactly,
like
yeah.
exactly like a rom com.
It hits all the beats of a rom-com.
You have a lot of humor in this movie. I forgot how much. Obviously, T.J. Miller is in it, but I forgot how many jokes you get
Oh,
throughout
yeah.
this movie,
It's
even it being
nonstop.
so intense. And it's
Yeah.
a believable character. When I first watched this movie, I didn't really know T.J. Miller, so it just is like we all know that very interesting, kind of out of touch, funny guy. Maybe we are that person, but in your group, but that he feels like a real person. It's not just like quips. And again, this T.J. Miller was probably, if you knew the stand up scene in New York, you probably knew who T.J. Miller was. But Pete Holmes could have done this role, and it was the same era. Like you just bring in an interesting, funny, self-deprecating comedian, but it still feels like a character. It didn't take me out of it. It actually enhanced the experience.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I had that written down. Like he is the most believable character, and the other actors, I mean, of course they're not well known, but it's like, you know, I could feel a little bit that they were acting, that they were trying, and it, you know, maybe it's not the best acting, but it's like they were acting. Whereas like TJ like truly felt like he didn't have lines, and he was truly just riffing, and that he was actually acting how I think I would probably act. Like if I was in the subway and there's a giant monster above me, I don't think I would be acting purely scared. I think I would be like scared, but like making ridiculous comments.
Yeah, well, he says that when they're walking up the apartment. When they're walking up the apartment, he's like, "I gotta talk about something, otherwise I'm gonna shit my pants. Like I have to talk about like how they got there."
I love that during that scene too, is when they're going up the stairs, he just starts going like down a conspiracy path a little bit. I was dying. Like, well, maybe they made the thing. And it's like, oh yeah,
That's aged well too. Like I feel like that's
has.
like especially nowadays with the internet, like that is definitely what people would be doing, is going down that rabbit hole. It's also this movie did feel 2008, obviously with the aesthetics, and we'll get into some of those fun aesthetics, but it felt like, oh, this is post 9/11, this is Bush era Iraq, like kind of like the government, like can we trust them or not? Like what's going on? Kind of that aspect to it felt really aligned. We also mentioned the CGI. I thought the CGI held up really well. There was only like one shot that I was taken out of it. Otherwise, I think they did a great job. They probably could have, like Kurt said, they could have done more of a Jaws thing where they show less of the monster. But overall, I was really impressed with the CGI. And I think the handheld nature of it helps with that.
for sure. Yeah, you just get the little glimpses, but when you do, it has such a powerful like force to it. Like when they're running down the subway and all you get is the one little shot of the monster screaming like that. Like those shots are what make it extremely powerful, but that's all you need.
Also, I like equally as powerful as seeing the monster was just like when they would blow out the audio of them screaming. Like you know when they're shooting, it's just like a shot of the military and they're like shooting it, and it's just
Great scene.
like, oh my god, oh my, and I'm like freaking out, and it's just like I'm not
It
even
raises
seeing
your adrenaline.
Yeah, shout out to the audio design. I didn't mention the people who were behind it, but the audio design in this movie, I actually watched it with over-the-ear headphones with my laptop monitor, which was great because it really was impressive how good it's so intense, loud, like you mentioned, like blows out, but it's not taking you out of it. It doesn't like distract you too much, but you really feel immersed in it. I highly recommend if you can watch it with over-the-ear headphones or in a good sound system. Do it. We need a re-release of this in theaters. I don't know when the next
that's what I was
anniversary.
thinking. Yeah, I wanted to see it in a big setting like that, really bad, really loud.
My last thought for overall thoughts is I noticed that how intimate this movie is, but at the same time, it's at scale. It's New York City. It's a creature feature. It's a alien monster, but it feels so intimate. And that's why it's one of the reasons why I felt like it was so enjoyable, because it felt like an indie movie, but it was able to do something at scale. I thought the creature design was really great because this is 2008. We're about to see 15 years of big, really bad aliens in Marvel movies, like blue aliens in Marvel movies. And I think this design holds up. All right, let's start with Leasties. Least responsible decision. Some interesting decisions by these characters. Here we go. Rob not going to Japan early. Could have really avoided that. Jason hanging off the bridge before the Brooklyn Bridge gets sliced in half. Just not be hanging off like a light lamppost. Not the time. Going uptown to save Beth or going into Beth's apartment. Yeah. What is the least responsible decision out of those?
It's got to be Beth, right? I don't know.
It's a mixture of going back for Beth. But, okay, we have two. We have the going uptown to save Beth. Just the well, we have three, I guess. The decision to go back into Manhattan after the bridge, which I understand why they did that.
Yeah.
Then they also decide to go uptown to save Beth towards the creature.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also decide to go into Beth's apartment. That's leaning.
It's basically, it's aggressively more irresponsible. I don't know. I just kind of hearing the little message they hear from her where it's like, I'm bleeding and I can't move. And I'm like, that doesn't sound worth it.
Doesn't sound like you're going to make it. I get it. It's also like you hear her, so you have the motivation. And the argument you could be made is once you get to her apartment, you've come so far that you're like, we might as well. Like, we're going to die anyways. We might as well.
I think it's a product of the circumstances, too. It's like a guy who just, what does he have left? He just watched his brother die. The world's exploding. Like, why not go on a mission or something?
That's a good point. I think one of the scenes that I really appreciated rewatching it is in the subway when he talks to his mom, and he has that's really his first time to like grieve his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes with this movie we get so focused on the rescuing Beth that we forget. I kind of forget that his brother just died like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, like nothing,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and also with the party dynamic, him like leaving and like kind of regretting his like decision with Beth, and then also like pair that with his brother dying. He's like, it's like, yeah, I guess
it's pretty extreme.
It's like all he has is to go and save her, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say definitely the least responsible decision was not going to Japan early. Just get on the plane. Don't mess around. Just get over there. If you're gonna go, go.
Then maybe not everyone. They wouldn't have had the party. Who knows?
Maybe people would have
downtown.
They would have gone upstate.
Saved everyone. But
that's when it starts. Rob should have done that.
Blood is on his hands.
Least plausible thing. Okay, there's a few here that we have to suspend our disbelief. This is a big one that people have debated: is cell phone reception in the subway. Now that was initially a very early on, like, New Yorkers were like, you wouldn't be able to get reception in the subway. But I was reading again, that you can fact check, is that there was a service that just started in New York where they were offering, I don't know how they were doing the technology where you could finally start using cell phones in the subway. So that's
a little debunked, yeah.
A little bit debunked. Some other least plausible things: surviving just the Brooklyn Bridge attack. That was
a little. They kind of cut it before they make it off the bridge. I noticed that this time. Like, how did that? How did?
But that's the great thing about a found footage movie. You could just say, well, they just didn't record it. Like, there could have been this entire dramatic thing that happened. We just didn't see it because they cut.
Yeah. True.
It's a great way around the budgets.
Mm-hmm.
Marlena staying with the group. Least plausible thing.
Oh, wow.
Here's my point of this. She comes to the party. She says, "I don't really know anybody."
Yeah.
Yes.
She seems like someone who like doesn't really care, but maybe that's the whole idea. She really does care. And I just feel like when he's saying we got to go back uptown, I feel like she leaves then. She's like, nope.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, because she's like totally coherent and like, I don't need to be a part of this. But then
She's
they
still
like,
annoyed by HUD. She hasn't warmed up to him by then.
yeah, exactly.
So I don't. And he's just filming her.
I just feel like in real life you would leave, but maybe not. I've never been in that situation. Maybe it's like these are the only people I know. But it just feels like when the guy's like, no, we're gonna go towards the monster to save my girlfriend or not girlfriend. You'd be like, I'm gonna go with the other people. I'm gonna go away from this place.
I mean, obviously planned, but like, you know, Odette's serious, Rob's serious. It's literally just Lizzie and TJ, and especially their banter that like totally.
We needed
it's the best dialogue in the film by far.
Yeah.
It is.
So, I guess I'm glad she stuck around.
Speaking of Marlene and just her not screaming in pain after getting bit in the subway, I just thought that was incredible that she was able to tough that one out.
She was cracking jokes right away.
She was. She's like, hey, we got some good banter, got some good quips. We gotta get
a gnarly gash on her back.
Well, going into that, can I add another least plausible? Is that what,
yeah.
Is thinking about it now is. Doesn't matter what era of our government, the fact that they were able to set up a whole like makeshift hospital room.
No. A couple other ones that I have for least plausible thing. The camera would not be that steady, especially the second half in the movie, but I understand why they had to. Coming from somebody who spent a lot of time behind a handheld camera, it's just very tough to keep those steady. We don't think about that today with iPhones and smartphones because they've created that. Essentially it's that feature that creates steadiness, but back then, oh man, when you were trying to edit this, it's like this,
they were not.
I was like, I thought this was on a tripod. It's like no, it's I guess it's an earthquake scene.
Yeah.
And then my other least plausible thing is Beth would definitely be dead. She would have been at the best passed out and you couldn't move her. So
yeah, the blood loss. It
would have been pretty rough. But again, we can suspend our disbelief at that point.
A rom-com.
It's a rom-com. Yeah, you gotta. It's fantastical. All right, the last least D is a special new one. It's called the "I'm out" moment from a horror scenario that you'd least likely go through with. So this is a scenario where if you're faced with it, you'd be like, I'm out. I'm not doing it. Going up to the roof to get a better look at something, just in general, like after you hear a loud explosion, going up to the roof to get a better look. I'm out right there. I'm get out. Walking single file on the Brooklyn Bridge with a bunch of people.
Dude, hell no.
No, yeah, the
in
bridge.
The middle of the night.
Keep me away from like dark water. No thanks.
I'm already out there.
No, if I see the Statue of Liberty's face, sliding in front of me on the street, I'm not walking the other direction. I'm sprinting.
Yeah. They were way too fascinated. I think that's the one frustrating thing about this movie. It's like, oh, let's go on the roof to get a better. No. It's like, doesn't matter if a tanker spilled. Like you're gone. Going to Midtown after your best friends will they won't they crush. I'm out. I don't care if you guys had a crush that you're like, but we kind of hooked up, but we're not an item yet. I'm like, no. I'm out. I love you, brother, but I'm out. Walking in a dark abandoned subway. That is
an absolute no.
No, the only light is from the camera.
I am 100% walking above.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then for there to be like the weird, like, you know, those bugs, the noises they made, you know,
yeah.
And then did someone have like UV night vision or something?
Yeah, they clicked the night vision on the camera.
On the camera. Oh yeah, like
I forgot about that. Because I was like, obviously this is a great setup because the audience is saying, don't go down the subway, the dark subway. Don't do this. This is a bad idea. Do not do it.
Classic, don't go in the basement. Yeah.
It's just like it's classic horror movie trope. Don't do that. They're doing that, and you're like, something's going to happen. And then it's the lights on, and it's like, oh, turn the night vision on. I totally forgot about that moment, and it freaked me out. Like I definitely jumped. I was like, holy shit! I forgot about this, and this is an incredible.
Yeah.
And it's very specific to that era of cameras where you could add the night vision. Oh, it haunting. So yeah, I would not be doing that. A shout out to one of the friends of the show, Ian McKay, actually here in Chicago, had a very similar experience to that, where a subway was stopped, and it was an underground subway, and he had to walk out. The fire department was pulling them out, but he should not watch this movie. It'll bring back. I was like, I'm out. Going into an apartment building that's about to collapse. Nope.
What are you doing?
It's
leaning over.
Also, the
Leaning Tower of Pizza.
The music in the foyer of that hotel has always been stuck in my brain. Of like when they got into that one.
That is great. It's like the bougie apartment complex lobby. Yeah. It's so serene and calm.
Yes.
Trying to get the elevator to work, or
which I appreciate. Like, again, TJ Miller's character HUD is the audience, because like we're saying like, well, we shouldn't do this. He's like, before he jumps onto the other apartment building, he's like, well, I'm probably gonna die. This is it. Which I think, honestly, if you didn't have him, it wouldn't be such a great movie, because he's commentating.
Yeah.
It's a director's commentator.
It is a director commentator. And audience.
And audience at the same time. My last I'm out moment is getting onto a military chopper with a massive alien attacking the city. That's, it's going down.
I still have not been on a helicopter, and I have no desire to ever go on one. They're like, what are those things?
I'd rather take the Hummer, to be honestly, because there was a couple of Hummers, and I was like, the Hummer can at least like barge through something. It's like,
I got like a jet ski or like a boat. I could just.
That's the thing. You got to find a jet ski, a boat, anything. I would like.
It came from the water, but
I think that's the interesting. Obviously, it said the Hudson River and stuff, and it was dark, and it did come from the water. It seems
you know what? Actually, I was like, I'm really thinking about it. Is like, you know what exactly what we need for this is fix your shices. You need the torpedo with the
we need from Nicholas. For those who don't follow, from National Treasure, when Nicolas Cage jumps off I forget what naval ship that is in New York. You could have done that and then might have been there. One of those underwater like things that can pull you in a scuba suit. That's what you needed. Just get across.
Yeah, just turn it on high and just until it runs out of battery.
I'm out. I'm going down the Atlantic seaboard. I'm going to Massachusetts. Give me to Maine. I'm out. So for me, it would just be I probably just wouldn't go up to the roof. So I'm out immediately. But definitely, I think walking down single file on the bridge, I still think that's one of the more terrifying parts. And then the subway.
I don't want to go anywhere near a bridge. Just like at night. Like, I don't want to go on a bridge at night.
No.
No, I want to be out on the open in the street. I don't care if it's like 2 blocks away. Like, at least I see what's going on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, let's get positive. Let's move on to besties. This is a fun one. Best late 2000s moment. And there's a lot of them. Of course, we mentioned the mini DV cameras at parties, or just people having them on the streets. Having a camera guy, having a guy who's just like, and I can say this because I was a wallflower camera guy who just had a camera hanging out. Put it online was mentioned a couple times at the party. That phrase I feel like is specific to the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Miller in general.
Mm-hmm.
Exposed brick apartment.
That one hits hard.
Yeah.
It's like that paired with like black railings of stairways and like granite countertops, too dark of cabinets, all that. It's a horrible imagery.
Especially it just feels 2008 New York. If it was in Brooklyn, because obviously that's in Manhattan, but I think, is that his apartment? Do we know is that Rob's apartment?
I don't know.
It's a nice apartment.
It'd be an insane place for, how old is he?
Finance bro. He's leading. He's moving to Japan. He's leading the Japan team.
Oh,
he's doing well.
Raise the ranks quick.
Doing well. This is right before the crash. So
true. Yeah.
True. Oh, this is the crash.
This is the crash. This is what
the monster stopped the crash from happening, I think. Maybe.
It's really helping the economy.
Yeah.
The Clover. Shout out to the Clover. Some other late 2000s is Nokia phones, Blackberries, pink camera phone. I saw a point and shoot camera, all that, especially when Rob comes in for the surprise, you get everyone with their camera phones or point and shoot cameras. It's plentiful.
Yeah.
It's so good. Lizzie Kaplan's just deadpan humor. I feel like this is really strong. We're right in the peak of the Apatow era. Deadpan humor is king.
Mm-hmm.
Millennials drinking, just like drinking hard, just a lot of drinking.
Well, for us specifically, I think this is big because first off, us Midwesterners, I don't really have a window into New York. We saw all these movies, we see the Apatow movies, Superbad, whatever, came out the year before. It's like we kind of are like, oh, that's what California is, when we're like 16, 17 years old. Whereas like I really don't know what New York is, and this actually like showing that apartment at least was like a big moment. And then also we'll get into it, but like the soundtrack, what they're wearing, I was like, whoa, it was like my first time like.
It's definitely expanding for us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't a rom-com, because a lot of New York movies in the late 90s, early 2000s were rom-coms. It's like that was obviously not New York. This felt like a very of the time, young people in the city that didn't. It felt raw and closer to realism of what was going on there, which is great. The last late 2000s moment, or best late 2000s moment, is watching local TV news to get a breaking news story. It's just like that was their immediate reaction, is just to watch local news. Rest in peace. What's your best late 2000 moments, guys? What stands out the most?
The apartment layout, their fashion, but I do think I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt like when I watched it in 2008, I still felt like, wait, are they really seeing like don't you think even then you were like, wait, are they really turning on the news, these 22-year-olds?
Probably not.
Like, I think even that was a bit of a reach, I think, in a good way, but
the party was bumping, like I don't know.
We'll talk about that transition. I didn't put this on here, but just Beth, the it girl, late 2000s. I mean, just the makeup, her outfits were. Yeah. I was just like, that is
quintessential.
That is what hotness was in 2008.
Yep.
Wow, it's changed. It's definitely changed, but that really captured it. I think that wins.
I think it is. Yeah.
That and the exposed brick. Tie. All right, we're moving into something we've been flirting with all episode. Best song at the party. Let's just talk about this music, Kurt. This soundtrack. Whoever was DJing this party. I'm gonna say HUD DJ'd, but maybe not. Can you? But I guess, Kurt, let's just talk about this music. What did this party scene do for you?
I mean, and Jacob knows this because it's like
you on the trajectory of your entire life.
Yeah, and for me personally, because Jacob was such an influence, I was like, I didn't have like my own, and I felt like this is a moment for me to claim it. I don't know Spoon, I don't know Rat-a-tat, I don't know Kings of Leon. Like all of a sudden, I don't know it's them in the movie, and I think that's like one of my favorite parts about why I was so obsessed is that I go see the movie, I'm like, crushing on Odette or whatever, and I'm like also like, oh man, but like that music, and I can't get it out of my head. And so I remember going home and Googling it, and because that's the only way to know that. And that was just like, I was so proud of myself to be like, I found this band, even though it's like, no, it's in some, monster movie. But yeah, Kings of Leon, Spoon, Rat-a-tat. I mean, that's those literally were then the bands that like defined my class in high school, like 2008, 2009.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It's a murderer's row of music. I think I got most of them in the playlist. There's a Spotify playlist. I think it's called like Rob's Party playlist. Here we go. Gorillaz, 192000, Spoon the Underdog, Kings of Leon, 2 Kings of Leon songs, Pistol of Fire and Taper Jean Girl, which Taper Jean Girl was also in another big movie that maybe we could cover that was in this area with another it girl, Disturbia, which I believe, which we might have to cover, Kurt.
That was...
It's my North Star, but keep going.
we'll run that one back soon. Moby, Disco Lies is in there, so a little late. Yeah, I mean, we talk about Moby. We talk about Moby in our Born Cast series.
I was gonna say, Moby's having a moment then.
Yeah, because Moby was. I mean, people associate him with '90s, but we got to think about who's making this movie. We got Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams. But Moby was also in the zeitgeist because Extreme Ways really brought him to that next level. It wasn't just European house music. He was in this big, huge franchise with Extreme Ways. Black Keys, Grown So Ugly. Rat-a-tat.
Yes.
17 years of Montreal, of course. Wraithpin to the Mist and other games. And then Bright Eyes, Four Winds. Just all in the party scene. Like, I mean, just, and the best part is it's quick cutting.
Yeah.
Obviously, because that's the way those cameras work. So every single cut, it feels like you get a new song. And it also it shows from an audience standpoint, you feel like you're in the party because, we've heard 15 songs throughout the party.
Yeah, it's so good. Each one of the songs too, the drop of each one, I have such a strong like tie. Like I can sense what's happening in the movie when the song starts. Like I remember the Rat-a-tat song, like you're immediately like, oh, things are starting to go a little off course here. And that song, even when I hear it outside of the movie, there's a little bit that brings me back into that party. Like,
because it's right when
That's a
the
good
turn
job.
starts to happen, when Beth comes and Rob's and the whole thing. Do you guys hear they slept together? It gets starting to happen, and it's like it just starts to really ramp up.
Man,
It's so good.
that whole scene.
We'll get into it more. What do you guys have a best song out of all of it? Is it impossible to choose? This is impossible.
I
to
feel
ask.
like when I think of the party scene, I think of Taper.
Yeah.
But
It has to be Taper for me because Taper is literally the only reason why I ever found out about him. I mean, that was just such a unique song.
Yeah, and this is Kings of Leon's second album. This is when they're popular in Europe.
Yeah, they haven't really gone.
Well, because in the soundtrack, there's like they mix in some like oldies, right? There's that one like
there's a couple oldies as well.
Like one that like gets them on the dance floor. I'm forgetting what it is, and so like when Kings goes on, I'm like, oh, this is another old song because it sounds so old, you know. And so that's when I was shocked that it was just a band that was created like 5 years ago when I found, when I was Googling it.
Amazing. Yeah. Shout out to, I think that takes the cake, especially with the backstory for Kurt.
Yeah.
There's too much there. It's too much time.
Way too much there.
So good. All right. Moving on to best line. There's a lot of them. I might've missed them, and a lot of them are HUD. Hey, I'm documenting the night. Had that in the cold open.
Yep.
It was eating people. It was eating everyone. That was Marlena's line, which I think is her one of her better moments, because she kind of walks in on the group after the big first attack.
Yeah, like they come back out into the dust, kind of, and
it's creepy because she's covered with dust, and it's
she might do like the most effective humor and dramatic acting of anyone in the whole movie. I mean, it's probably why she went on to be probably the best, more successful, most successful.
I think that's true. She definitely shines in this movie out of all the other characters. One of us is going to have to tackle you, and that's going to be really awkward for all of us. Which I was appreciated. I was like, yes, that's what you're like. I'm going to have to tackle you because you're being stupid.
You're being a good friend. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Another one, Rob. I don't think the train is running right now. Which is great when they're in the subway.
Yeah.
Another one. The ocean is big, dude. This is another HUD trying to explain what happened and how the creature came, because they talk about how it's like, it was like a kaiju, is it, or Godzilla? Did it come from the bottom of the ocean, or was it an alien? Which is great. This is a great Lizzie Kaplan. Wait, you know who Superman is?
But it's like when the camera's like 2 inches from her face when she says that. Yeah, she looks,
It's amazing.
She's so good.
Our options are to die here, die in the tunnels, or die on the ground. I just was like, yep. And that's the movie.
It's so good.
This is a kind of one that I picked up this time. I can't remember the actor's name or the character's name, but it's like the one military guy. Rack 'em and pack 'em. We're Phantom and 15 when they're like packing up the hospital. It's like the 190s action movie line I get.
It made me think of like all the Code Red calls in every movie. Like, it's so perfect. It gets you kind of fired up a little bit. And
dude, I am a huge sucker for a rack 'em up.
Yeah,
bro.
rack 'em up.
Or like a pack 'em out kind of.
Man.
Like, it was a nice service. I was like, thank you for giving us that, because it's a pretty like intense movie the whole way through. It doesn't feel like there's superheroes or like anybody's gonna come save the day. But when you have that, there's a little moment you're like, are the military going to do this? I think so. I mean, that guy seems like they're going to do it. And then the military guy that helps them escape, you're like, oh, okay, there's goodness there.
Yeah.
This line got me so good. No one ever listens to me ever. And then now they're listening to me when HUD has the idea to go in the other building and jump across. It's
then,
so true.
And then he's like, no, do not listen to me.
Don't listen to me. I mentioned this one earlier. I need to talk about something. Otherwise, I'm going to shit my pants in this stairwell.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. When they rescue Beth, she asks, "What is that?" And HUD says, "It's a terrible thing. I don't know." And then when the small creature comes, he also says, "I don't know, something also terrible."
I know exactly that part.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. That might need to be on our merch, just like on a coffee mug. It's just a terrible thing. It's just a great way to describe something you can't describe.
Yeah.
And then the last one, which is a little bit more serious at the end, is "Look at Me, I Love You," which it's a powerful way to end the movie. It's the rom-com ending that we get. That I love you. Those are the best lines. Do you guys have a favorite out of all those? There's a lot of good HUDs.
Yeah. I mean, probably one of the HUDs. One I picked up too was the "Good Luck Tonight" Travis. I really liked. I feel like
that's a good
Travis
one.
was such a good pick. Like it's such a.
Oh, that is such a good line because he's such a dweeb.
Yeah,
He
and
is.
like it just makes me feel like that era where there's a lot of kids named like Travis and Trevin and
And he like swags off, like he like takes a sip of beer afterward. You know, he's like, "Good luck tonight."
Yeah, shout out to Ben Feldman. He actually did a decent amount of stuff afterwards. He was in the sitcom Superstore and did some other stuff, Silicon Valley.
So the real winner, I guess, of that.
So he had a pretty good. Theo Rossi, who plays Antonio, also went on to do some other things as well. He's just a guy at the party, but yeah, that's a great line.
Yeah.
It's a great burn line.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you got to give it to one of HUD's little funny quips.
One of the HUDs are great.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to the big one, best scene. Okay. The party. There's so much that's happening in the party. That's like one big scene. I think the thing that really stood out to me is the party is so well shot, designed, the characters. I was so into what was happening with the love triangle. When they go on the stairwell and they're talking, they're like, "Oh man, you don't deserve her." His brother's like kind of talking him up, but also like talking him down. You're so lulled into this story. You're like, oh, I'm really interested in these characters and what's happening here, that as soon as that quake happens in the stairwell, you're just shocked out of the melodrama. And for 18 minutes, you forget what this movie's about. Yeah. And then it slaps you back in the face. It's one of my favorite parts of this movie is the ability to, I'm going into a found footage movie. It's a monster, like it's a mysterious movie. It's probably going to be a horror movie. You're lulled in this 18 minutes of melodrama through this party, and then boom, we're off to the races.
Yeah.
I think like I was so, and I still am so into, all I want to know really is like, I kind of want to just, I'm like so into Rob and Beth's like story. Like I love, and I think my favorite thing about it, and I guess I'll call it my favorite scene, is like when it goes back, when it like shows the original footage.
Yeah.
On the Ferris wheel, and it shows the thing going in the ocean, or shows them in the hotel room. I'm always like, no, don't cut back. I want to know what they're doing. I was like, I don't know. It was like a. I'm like fully like One Tree Hill mode all of a sudden. I'm like, no, give me more.
Yeah,
okay.
It really does have like a CW like episode feel, like the romance part of it, and then you just get thrown into a.
Yeah, if they would have all survived and this would have been a CW show, like they all would have slept together by the end of the seventh season.
That's where it was headed. The party scene was bringing us there.
That's so true.
Yo.
A couple other scenes to stand out. We mentioned it. I think Kurt mentioned it. The military ambush with the rocket launchers, or the rocket launchers. It just they're surviving, and then all of a sudden they walk into this military attack, and they're locking and loading and letting loose. It's just so intense. And then of course HUD's like on the other side. It just it really brings
the one that leads
severity
into them going into the subway, right? So you get that shot of the monster screaming. That, yeah,
Yep.
That's when it really ratchets up, and you're like, oh,
You're-
this is serious. Another best scene, we mentioned it already. The jokes in the subway tunnel to night vision, just like that whole sequence is one of the scariest, funny, scary, shocking sequences. And then just them trying to fight off the critters and
Oof. I hadn't noticed the critters sounds the critters made. There's a little bit of like because that scene is maybe the scariest scene,
yeah.
but the creatures do some kind of hilarious sounds. There's a little bit of like
yeah.
I hadn't noticed that before. And then I started like once you lock into it, you're like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Like
They do that, and they also like when it looks back in the infrared, behind them, and it's like, oh, what is that? The scariest thing ever. They one of them like hangs off the top like a minion.
Yeah, they're having fun.
There's a little bit of funny,
like trapezing. It is like kind of funny. Yeah.
We mentioned this in our monster movie bracket episode. I think the Clover is just something happened. It's just scared. It's just scared. It doesn't know where it is. It's not like it's trying to just murder it. It's just like it's hungry. It's scared. It's just it's not its fault. I think it's sympathetic. Marlena bursts plus HUD gets emotional plus the horse carriage is another scene. It's probably the darkest part of the movie because when Marlena gets bit and she starts bleeding from the eyes and she goes behind the plastic and just explodes. And then when they get out of the hospital, that's when HUD finally breaks down. And I think it's one of the best acted parts of the movie. And it really shows like TJ Miller's not just a comedian. He's able to have that emotional moment.
Yeah.
And then you have the shot of the horse with the carriage just walking through the city.
Eerie. That's so great. That's like tailor-made for a promo. It's so good.
It's so creepy because those horses and carriages are synonymous with Central Park, New York City, and just to see it walking alone is just haunting.
And like a silent New York all of a sudden.
It's creepy. Pulling Beth off the pole, jabbing, getting out of the apartment building. It's so intense. The helicopter attack too. We haven't mentioned it. The HUD death in Central Park, really intense. And then the ending message, also just a great. That's probably all one from the helicopter crashing, which I thought was so intense. Even rewatching again.
I thought. I mean, what were your thoughts on that? Was that like a little too like almost expected of like fear tactic? Because I even now watching it last night, I was like, I know, you're looking into the cloud,
Yeah.
And you're like, and the camera stays there, and you're like, no, please don't do this.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the mouth that comes out.
That was the scene that drew me back to want to watch it over and over when it first came out, though. That's the peak of the roller coaster element,
Right.
True.
or
It is
like in the theater where it's just this huge screen, you're just staring into this cloud, like her was saying, like, oh,
And it just
it's
jumps
so
out.
perfectly designed. That helicopter, I think that might be like the best high action-y scene. Maybe it's either that or the bridge for me. I don't know.
I think the helicopter, it's so intense. And then obviously seeing HUD die because he's essentially the audience. Like he's like us and we've heard his voice. I think it is interesting. I was like, oh, this ending's kind of interesting because you get Rob talking into camera at the end. You have that emotional moment. He's trying to have Beth say something.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really gotten his perspective. He's just kind of a side character. But when we lose HUD, it's really emotional. I was like, oh, I don't want this to happen, even though it's coming.
I did have the thought this time watching it, like if they wanted to just fully kind of cut away from the rom-com element, it would be pretty shocking and kind of killer if it just ended with HUD getting eaten. Like I was thinking, like, oh wait, does it just end here? Because the camera, it starts.
It does twitch.
The autofocus twitch thing. Like that would be a pretty insane ending. Because it's like, why would anyone go back? Like, how did the camera even survive? Like, how, like I had that thought watching it. Like, man, that could have been an insane ending.
It is a perfect ending, and I kind of wanted it. And then the only reason why I not like approving of the actual ending, but I am happy that it shows that everyone dies. And that is probably my favorite thing of this movie is that everyone dies because and I think that was one of my pitches when I was like freaking out and making everyone go see it. It was like, no, you don't get it. everyone dies. It's avant-garde. It's like
avant-garde.
yeah, and you know, and so I'm happy that
It's true. I mean, you don't get a final girl like HUD's kind of our final girl. I mean, you don't get any of that. It would have been interesting to just cut it off there, especially with the autofocus, which was a key factor in those cameras. The autofocus, that's when you know the camera was going, but the autofocus was just like losing its mind.
So that's a great shot. Yeah.
It's such a good detail if you've been in action trying to use a camera and it just loses its mind. I think it would have been cool, but I think the cathartic moment, going back to what Kurt said about cutting to them at the end of their day at Coney Island and just saying this was a good day, I think is a really strong way to end the movie, because then it just cuts to black.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
perfect.
little details, the U.S. like, which we didn't mention, the whole idea it's framed as like, this is U.S. research, what you're about to see. It's like a piece of evidence. And I appreciate the mystery of this. There's so much mystery in the build up to the movie, but also within the movie, because we only know from the perspective of those characters. Obviously, there was I'm not a straight sequel with Cloverfield and Lane, but it's barely even. It's not really a sequel. It doesn't give us more information about the world. I always struggle with this because it's one of those. This is a movie where you want to find out all the answers, but you know that will make this movie less. It's better to be just ambiguous and like Kurt said, avant-garde, because everyone dies. We don't have a hero. What's your favorite scene? What's the best scene? What's the one that you were like, I got to keep watching this?
I mean, the most enjoyable scene is probably the party. But yeah, I think the helicopter ride is still maybe just my favorite overall, just part of the movie. I was really the bridge really shocked me watching it this time. Like we were talking about before, the sound design really stood out on that one with the cables around and snapping, and that scene was really, really good. But yeah, I think if I could only just watch one scene, it's probably the helicopter ride, because I just want that roller coaster adrenaline rush.
True roller coaster. For me, it is the party into the stairwell where the turn of the movie happens, where you're kicked out of the rom-com when Lizzie Kaplan's like, "Oh, I didn't know this was a monster movie." Kurt, what about you? What's your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just think I just was like so into like the hotel footage or the Ferris wheel, and then cutting to real life and the cute banter and like I just love that like a realisticness of it all. I loved being in the party, yet me knowing that there was like this big terrifying thing in the background. I think that was probably like my favorite. It was just like the first 20 minutes.
All right, let's wrap up here, gentlemen. What did you rate this one on Letterboxd? I think can you share your names in your rankings?
Mine is Curtis Felten, and the bio is I was in Belfast for life, so you'll know it's me. I rated this, as you would expect, 5. And my review was, I saw this in quotations. I saw this in theaters 5 times.
Which is everything you need to know.
Yep.
Jake, what about you?
I gave it 4.5. I feel like it's probably like a 4-star movie, but the like half star just for pure nostalgia, it's so of a time. Like we've talked about it on nauseum, like it's so of the late 2000s that it really brings me back. I think that was my review. It's just like, it's one of those movies that really brings me back. It's just so fun to revisit a time of life through a movie.
I think no, you're right. I think it is a 4-star movie, and I mean, I have to just bump it up because it actually like was too powerful to me as a 17-year-old.
We don't apologize for our ratings here on Least Important Things. Bombastic, the better. I'm the same with Jake, 4.5, and I think my bump is it's 80 minutes and it's aged so well. I really wasn't sure going into it what the experience was, and I was just floored that, wow, we were making an original $30 million sci-fi movie that wasn't sci-fi horror monster movie that wasn't IP in 2008 and just smashing it out of the box. It's like, oh my gosh, bring me back, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really. I remember back in the day when we would be looking for a late night movie. Like it is the quintessential perfect. It's on that verge of being. It's too late to start something. 11 o'clock, maybe
Yeah,
11:30.
post
Right.
college football game or like
Yeah,
Saturday
you can
Night
just throw
Live.
this on. It's the same length as like a HBO drama or something. It's perfect.
It's perfect. It's it's aging with us. Jake's a dad. It's perfect for the dad rewatch. He really can get it in quick. It's
Fit it in
it's
and not take too much of my sleep
Well,
time.
yeah.
I mean, not to turn it in a different direction for just 1 second, but like, do you think this can happen again? Like, do you think a movie?
Ooh, we didn't talk about the found footage history, but obviously it's a medium that has had a lot of stuff. The paranormal activities really took the torch here. It's really been a horror monster genre.
Yes. Yeah.
I
It definitely
think
would be hard to do the marketing that they did now.
I think
would.
so. That makes me sad. I think
Mhm.
people just don't. They're not as locked in. They're not easily excited for like the mystery.
Yeah, and I think the found footage aspect is not interesting anymore because of phones. I think like if you made I think like I was actually watching Joe Keery was in a horror movie that was made during the pandemic and he's an Uber driver and it's shot with iPhones and it was interesting because he's like an Uber driver and it's supposed to just be like him in the Uber and he's essentially like starts killing people. I forget the name of it, but I like stopped it because I was like, this isn't interesting. So I think because we're so used to people having their own footage, I think the found footage aspect is not unique anymore. Maybe there's a way to do it. Maybe it's going to just be period pieces where like someone uncovers it or something. But I don't know. I think this is taking the formula of the Blair Witch Project and elevating it to like having special effects, having this big budget disaster monster movie. I just don't know if you can replicate it. Plus the talent. Like let's be honest. We read it off at the start. Like the talent involved in this movie that would go on to do some amazing things. I don't know if you can have a lightning in a bottle moment like that again.
Yeah, the guys behind this. Yeah.
But maybe Gracie Abrams' dad will get us a third movie. There's been rumors of a third movie, like a direct sequel, more of a direct sequel to this movie that's not found footage, which I don't know how effective it would be. Again, it would be kind of the idea that you learn more about what this world is and then it kind of diminishes the first one. So I kind of hope it doesn't happen because now that I've rewatched it, it's special and it kind of needs to be untouchable.
Yeah, and I'm only in if it's the exact same cast. I think that's a true across the board. When it's like, oh, they're gonna make another Social Network, or they're gonna do, they'll bring back this, and I'm like, yeah, it better be exactly the same cast.
Run it back. I'm sure this crew would love to do that.
Yeah, these people are probably all making.
No, that was mean. That was mean. They're all doing really well. They're doing good work. All right, gentlemen, let's wrap up with our final question is, what does this movie mean to you? Let's start with Kurt. What does this movie, Cloverfield, mean to you?
Cloverfield is just peak. It could be the peak, really, of a theater experience, of a time and era of me loving movies and like being like, an innocent, like adolescent, just like the whole world, the whole life is in front of me kind of thing. Like it is something that cannot be, it's just stuck in time. It's frozen in time. And it was just so exciting. So I think that's what it is. Just like a perfect representation of me kind of just fully gooned on life is how I could say it the best. So
Jake, what does this movie mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's like a one of one, hyper specific. If you're in that time of life like that we were, like it's like late teens or something, it just hits so many boxes of, it's got the hot girl and the crazy action and scares. It's just perfect. And the runtime, it's really, I can't think of any movie like it. It's really it's a unique thing. But
I would agree. This movie means a moment in time where I had a friend that was so obsessed with the movie and was sharing about it, and it lived up to the hype. And that's Cloverfield. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Jake, for joining. We'll run this back. This is a good crew right here. This is a long time coming. We'll get you guys on a new one.
We'll cover all the found footage. So we got Troll Hunter up next.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. We'll think about it. Yeah. Viewers and listeners, if that's what you want, let us know. We'll do it. We'll do it.
You
We're here
want
to serve.
Troll Hunter? Yeah.
We are here to serve. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Listeners, viewers, thank you. Happy Halloween. Happy Samhain for those who celebrate. Up next, we will be talking about alien monsters. I mentioned it. We have a new Predator film coming up, so we're gonna talk about these alien monsters. So the Clover will return. We also have another character that tends to return, and we're gonna dip back into the spy genre, talking about the 30th anniversary of a certain film that captured one of the most handsome men in show business. That's coming up next. And until then, talk to you soon, friends. Thank you.